That's not a problem. All right, let me start with introducing myself. Let me start by introducing myself. I am Amara, a medical lab scientist and metabolic health educator. I've taught tertiary students metabolic biochemistry for more than 4 years, and I've equally done research on metabolic health for the same number of years. So all I do on this channel is basically share information that will help us optimize our metabolic health. Whether you have PCOS, which is a metabolic disorder. PCOS is more of a metabolic disorder than a hormonal issue, because it's the disoriented metabolism that translates to hormonal changes that women with PCOS experience. Then if you have pre-diabetes or diabetes, this is the place for you, because I'll be showing you how you can optimize your metabolic health. Diabetes is a case of insulin resistance. Pre-diabetes, diabetes, they're all cases of insulin resistance. If you can optimize your metabolic health, you can reverse or remit your diabetes. Then if you're overweight is an insulin resistant issue. If you can as well reverse your insulin resistance, you can lose weight and gain muscle. Yes, and a whole lot of issues center on insulin resistance. So many health conditions people are experiencing today have a link or is rooted in some way to insulin resistance. For example, erectile dysfunction that some men experience. You find out that when men who are experiencing erectile dysfunction improves their metabolic health, they experience pronounced change in their erectile, pronounced improvement in their condition. The erectile, most times, just optimizing one's metabolism could be the end to erectile dysfunction. Sorry. So that's basically what I do on this channel. Share hacks that will help us optimize our metabolic health. Myself, I'm a PCOS warrior. I say that from time to time because I wear my PCOS warrior cap beautifully well. And for the fact that I've been able to conceive with PCOS, I don't say it with by I don't mind sweat when I say that I'm a PCOS warrior, because one of the peculiar challenges that women with PCOS face is infertility. But because I was able to optimize at some point in my life, because I didn't just know that PCOS, that optimizing metabolic health could relieve me. Learnt about it until when I learned the first time I learned that I had PCOS, because I'm a research oriented person. I love to find out things. So the first time I had that I have, the time I got properly diagnosed, you cannot say you have PCOS because maybe you have some symptoms. You have to get properly diagnosed before you can qualify yourself or get qualified as someone with PCOS. So before I found out, okay, when I found out rather that I have PCOS, I started researching online, not the normal research, okay, not the normal research that you go to field or you use rats or whatever to get factual findings. But I started researching on it, reading blogs online, reading journals to get to know about PCOS. And when I learned that PCOS predisposes one to diabetes, Kai, I got free things. And unfortunately, that period, my auntie has been living with diabetes and it has been a burden to me. So the whole thing inspired my direction when I did my postgraduate studies. It inspired the direction of my research and my postgraduate studies. So I decided to go for an area that will expose my mind to things concerning PCOS, things concerning diabetes, and other conditions related to them, and I got the answer I needed. Yes, I've not gotten the whole answers. If I tell you that I've gotten the whole answers, then I'm lying to you. I haven't gotten the whole answers. I'm still learning, I'm still researching and learning. But so far, I've gotten a hold on insulin resistance and how it can be reversed. And that's the vision behind this channel. I've gotten a hold on insulin resistance, how insulin resistance can be reversed, and I also have a course on that. I've had a course, and that course has worked for people. Not one person, not two persons have used that course and reversed the condition, especially pre-diabetes and diabetes. Okay, so I don't say whatever I say from the months. I am a PCOS warrior, and that PCOS warrior nudged me to delve into metabolic health research, and I've found a lot of things that can help us optimize our metabolic health, and that's the inspiration, that's the vision behind this channel, to help people through education, and of course through education to reverse insulin resistance. So all this channel is about metabolic health. From time to time I share tips on nutrition. From time to time I share tips on other health conditions, because all these things are interlinked. So today we are sharing why carbs are overrated. Carbohydrates are overrated, whether whole or commercial or processed carbohydrates. They are overrated. Um, for instance, um, people say that it's better you eat them whole than eating processed. Yes, I agree with that. Whole carbohydrates is the best. Or processed carbohydrates mess you up immediately. But then, whole carbohydrate, if you depend solely on whole carbohydrate, you could be messing your metabolism, up. If you depend solely on whole carbohydrates will give you sugar spike. Whole carbohydrate doesn't give a quick sugar spike, yes, but over time, if you rely just on whole carbohydrates, you will keep getting doses of sugar, and when this sugar piles up in your blood, it could cause mitochondrial dysfunction. This mitochondrial dysfunction could translate to insulin resistance, because when your mitochondria is the organelle where metabolism takes place, where metabolism of carbohydrates take place. So when your mitochondria gets disoriented, it might translate to insulin resistance. And this insulin resistance, like I mentioned initially, is behind some conditions: brain fog, erectile dysfunction, PCOS, and even some menopausal symptoms. Women in menopause and women with PCOS, they share something in common. Menopausal women have high testosterone and low estrogen, and this low estrogen causes insulin resistance, because estrogen helps you to take up glucose. But when estrogen is low, it's going to reduce the way your body takes up glucose, and it's going to result to insulin resistance. So some menopausal symptoms are as a result of insulin resistance, and I always advise people in the menopause to prioritize protein And at this point, I do love to know, which do you prioritize, protein or carbohydrates? Which one do you usually eat? Is it protein? Do you eat more of protein, or you eat more of carbohydrate? Let me know in the comment section. And do you know the amount of protein you require? Do you also know if you can eat too much of protein? I'm going to share that before the end of this live section. Okay, I'm going to share whether eating too much protein is bad or whether it's good. All right, so the next point I hope to share with you is, now, the role of carbohydrates. Carbohydrate gives us quick sugar and spike, but it can as well cause insulin resistance when if you focus all your if the major source of your diet is carbohydrate. Yes, carbohydrate is the most abundant organic molecule. It's the most abundant. It's more abundant than protein. Is more abundant than fat. So carbohydrate is the most abundant organic molecule, but yet whether whole or processed, relying solely on carbohydrates is wrong. It is not metabolically healthy. Yes, some of these carbohydrates also contains protein in small amount, something like rice. Rice contains protein in small amount, but basing your diet on only carbohydrate rich food, it's not advisable metabolically. It's not advisable metabolically, okay? Basing your diet on just carbohydrate rich food is not metabolically advisable, okay? So proteins are and meanwhile carbohydrates is not essential. Yes, your body needs glucose to function. That's not debatable. Your body needs glucose to function, but this glucose can as well be gotten from other sources. There is a process called gluconeogenesis, and gluconeogenesis is the process whereby your body produce or synthesize glucose from non-carbohydrate sources like fat, protein. So you must not take in carbohydrates. Taking carbohydrate is not a must. Your body can synthesize carbohydrate from other sources using a process known as gluconeogenesis. But protein is essential. I think in my live yesterday, I mentioned complete and incomplete proteins. Proteins are very essential. Is something you need to eat daily because your body does not store protein for long. You need to keep eating protein on a daily basis. Your body can make do. It can do away with carbohydrate. It can find other ways to get carbohydrate, but not protein. There are essential amino acids that no matter how hard your body tries, it cannot produce them. There are essential amino acids that your body cannot produce, no matter how hard it tries. And these essential amino acids are contained in certain foods. That's when complete and incomplete protein comes to play. Complete proteins are the proteins that contains all the essential amino acids, while incomplete proteins are the proteins that contain some amino acid missing one or two of them. So you need to be taking complete proteins in your diet on a daily basis. Now you don't have to take this protein at a stretch. You don't have to take it at a go. You can spread it out. You can take some in the morning, take some in the afternoon, and take some as dinner. There is something called protein pool or amino acid pool in your body. Once you eat, the food gets digested, and protein by the way is the breakdown, amino acids are the breakdown products of protein. So when you eat protein, your body digests it into amino acid and stores it in amino acid pool. So if your body requires amino acid to produce neurotransmitter like serotonin, it will go to that amino acid pool and pick tryptophan and use it to form serotonin. If your body requires amino acid to convert into glucose, it will go to that amino acid pool and pick out an amino acid that it will convert to glucose. If your body requires amino acid to produce protein, it will still go to that amino acid pool and pick out the required amino acid to produce protein. So your body is always synthesizing protein for different biological functions. So protein is essential. Carbohydrate is not so essential. Your body needs steady supply of protein. Carbohydrate is not as essential as protein. So now, what happens when you eat too much carbohydrates? Two things can happen. You could result to insulin resistance. I've already mentioned that. And this insulin resistance, unfortunately, many persons are suffering from it without even knowing. Many persons are suffering from insulin resistance without knowing they're suffering from it. Right now, I think 1 in 3 persons have insulin resistance. So if you're in a gathering of 3 people, that means that one of you in that gathering of 3 might have insulin resistance. It is that common. And it's because of too much consumption of carbohydrates, especially the processed ones. The next thing that could happen if you eat too much of carbohydrates is having sugar cravings. Carbohydrate does not keep you full for long. It breaks down, gets converted to glucose, and then you start feeling hungry, especially the processed ones, and you start feeling hungry again. So it's going to increase your cravings, it's going to increase your hunger, and if you eat more of the processed one, you will have energy crashes. You get a quick supply of energy and you suddenly start feeling weak. After some minutes, you start feeling weak because once you eat it, you have glucose spike, and then you have a boost of energy, and suddenly once the something goes down, the glucose goes down, you start feeling tired again and your body will start craving for sugar. But the good thing about protein is protein will keep you full for long. Protein will help you to stabilize blood sugar, and protein will help you to build muscles and lose fat. You know, if you gain muscle you lose fat. That's the rule. If you gain muscle you lose fat. And most times very fat people have very small muscle mass, and people who are muscular have very small fat mass. And fat is not good. It's not so healthy. Fat is not so healthy. So now, how much protein do you need? You've learned that you need protein more than you need fat. But do you know the amount of protein you need? Do you know the amount? Knowing this thing is very important. It's very important to know the amount of protein you require, so you don't go eating too much or eating too little. Too much is bad, too little is bad. Now if you eat too little protein, three things are likely going to happen. You're likely going to feel malnourished. You're likely going to have weakened immune system. And when your immunity is low, you will fall prey to different infection. If airborne disease comes, you pick it. If this one, all the infectious disease, when they come around you, you pick them because your protein level is low and your immunity is low. Okay, and another thing that is likely going to happen is that you are going to lose muscle. Your body requires protein for different functions. So if you're not giving your body enough protein, it's going to break down your muscle to get the protein it requires. So eating protein is very, very important. Eating protein is very, very important, but how much do you need? Normally, if you don't do anything, all you do you just sit and have very small movements. You don't move a lot, you don't do much. You require 0.8 gram per kg body weight. So if you're weighing like 60 kg, you will need about 50 something grams of protein or 40 something grams of protein to stay healthy. If you move very well, if you are active, you need 1.2 grams to 2.0 grams of protein per kg body weight. So if you're weighing like 70, you will need 71.4 grams of protein to stay healthy. But here is the trick: eating too much protein is not good. If you eat too much of protein, it is not good too. Some proteins has been linked to heart disease, especially for food that contains leucine. If you eat too much of it, you could be increasing your risk for heart disease. And food that contains leucine, proteinous food that contains leucine are milk, egg, chicken breast. They contain leucine. So eating too much of these proteins is also bad. And another protein that is bad to consume is proteins that contains saturated fat like red meat. When you eat too much of red meat, you could increase your risk for heart disease. So you see the trick about the this thing about eating protein. Okay, so everything should be done in moderation. Good things should be gotten in moderation. Protein is good, but you should eat it in moderation, because eating too much could as well cause even kidney diseases, especially for those who have high risk for kidney disease. Eating too much protein could increase your risk for kidney disease. Okay, so I hope I made some sense. I hope you got something from this live stream. If you're just joining in, please do well to go through. You're going to pick a thing or two from this live stream, and I would love to know what you learned from this live stream. If I said something that reinforced something you've always known, that could help you stay healthy, please do let me know in the comments. If you're just learning something about why carbohydrate is overrated and why protein is the king, if you're just learning something about why protein is more important, more essential than carbohydrate, do also let me know in the comments that you learned such thing. And before the week runs up, I'm going to post a video that have everything you need to know about these subjects I treated yesterday and the one of today. All you need to know about them before the week runs up. I'm going to post a video on that, so do well to go through the live stream. Let me know if you learned something new, or if this video reinforced something you've always known to keep you on your toes to staying healthy. See you in the next one. Cassia. And before I forget, on Friday I'm likely going to do something on insulin resistance and overweight, so you get to learn the link between insulin resistance and overweight, and how improving insulin resistance, or how boosting your insulin sensitivity can help you lose weight. See you in that one. Catch ya. Bye.